All right, so jobs. The national unemployment rate ticking back up, as we just mentioned, 9.1% last month. The Democrats and Republicans are blaming each other for the lack of job growth in this country. A Fox News poll shows the economy and job growth are the top issues among Americans. Nothing else rates even half as high. Is it time for lawmakers to stop playing the blame game and come up with a plan to get folks back to work? Here now is Brad Blakeman, who served as deputy assistant to former President George W. Bush, and Don Goldberg is with us, who served as an assistant to former President Clinton. He's now a partner at Bluetext communications firm. And it's good to see you both. Don, how do we create jobs?
Well, you know, unfortunately, the government doesn't have, and the White House doesn't have a lot of tools at its disposal. You can't lower interest rates anymore. They're effectively zero. You can't spend your way out. There's just no political willpower to do any more stimulus.
Don, the president, I'm sorry to interrupt you with your first answer, but the president has got to come up with something or he is not going to win a second term. So what does he do?
Well, I think this has not been a good week for that very reason for the White House. I mean, his plan, which is to increase exports, to try to get rid of some regulations here and there, maybe a little bit of spending. I mean, those are little things around the margins. I don't know that he has any great plan to sort of increase the numbers of jobs that he really needs to see in the next, 15 or 16 months before the election. I think it's not a good news. This jobs issue is very troubling for this White House, and I don't know there's an easy answer for him.
We saw right before the new year began, we saw this president agree to a 2-year extension of the Bush-era tax cuts. It was something that surprised a lot of people, upset a lot of people on the left, but probably made some people in the middle pretty happy. Do you foresee this president maybe doing that kind of thing again? It would certainly help him politically, don't you think?
Yeah, I think he's going to have to at some point. I mean, the biggest problem about the tax cuts is that we really don't have the money to pay for them. If we're trying to get the deficit under control, especially at a time when we're trying to get the debt limit extended, you can't cut down on the revenues the government's making. I mean, we would all like to have lower taxes. That's just not going to be feasible to keep the economy going. I think he will, though, extend these tax cuts even further when the opportunity arises.
Is he going to pull a rabbit out of the hat here, President Obama? Do you foresee him doing something, some kind of a October surprise, I guess, or something that might just help out the situation here with all these folks who are out there looking for work?
Right. I'm just not sure what that surprise could be. Again, I think that the White House has as tools very small things they can do that just can't create. You'd have to create 100,000 new jobs every month to really get these numbers down. And I don't think that the government by itself, that's something that the global economy is going to need to have. And I don't think economists think that's going to happen before the election.
Are you predicting, I'm sorry to cut you off again, are you predicting that President Obama is a one-termer because of the economy and jobs?
No, I mean, I think that if he has a strong Republican candidate against him, which is not at all clear that he will, he's going to have a very tough fight. But I think that the Republican field is in such flux right now, and I think that the Republican primaries are going to give Romney and somebody like Pawlenty maybe a hard time. They may not have a good shot at getting through.
Don Goldberg and Brad Blakeman. Gentlemen, thanks so much for coming in on a Saturday. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Rick.